In tonight's 10:15 difference, it was a routine traffic stop with the driver expecting a warning.
What he got? Handcuffs and jail time. In the end, it was all a mistake. But as 7 News investigator John Ferrugia found, the incident raises serious questions about how Aurora police conduct routine investigations.
It does, Ann. Jerome Powell was a person with no criminal record. He says he has had a security clearance ever since he was stationed aboard a nuclear aircraft carrier in the Navy. So how could he be the subject of an Aurora warrant for 2 felonies, crimes he never committed? Well, he claims it's sloppy police work by a veteran detective and police supervisors who simply didn't do their jobs, and he wants to know who's going to be held responsible.
He asked me to get out of the car, and I thought that was a little weird, you know. I mean, I've never been asked to get out of the car on a traffic stop.
In late July of this year, Jerome Powell drove through a yellow light as it turned red. A Mountain View police officer followed him and a block later pulled him over into a parking lot. After checking Powell's license in his computer, the routine stop turned scary.
So I get out and I put my hands behind my back, and he puts the handcuffs on me and says, "I'm being arrested for an outstanding warrant." I have no clue what's going on. I'm not aware of any warrants out for me. I mean, I have never been in trouble, so I'm shocked.
In August 2003, a man walked into Aaron's Rental in Aurora, signing for more than $10,000 in computer gear, furniture, and other expensive items, giving Jerome Powell's driver's license as his ID. The merchandise was then delivered to an apartment building, but never paid for and never returned. Now, coincidentally, Jerome Powell lost his driver's license in July of 2003, weeks before the theft, and he had it replaced.
When I realized I lost my driver's license, I went to the DMV and told them that it was lost, and I needed and got reissued another driver's license.
An Aurora police detective, using the information from the old license, began investigating Jerome Powell and seemed to ignore overwhelming evidence that his lost license was used by someone else.
I don't know how he issued a warrant for me, because everything pointed to the person who actually stole the rental equipment.
In fact, the address listed of the apartment where the stolen items were taken was rented by a career criminal. The manager told police he'd never heard of Jerome Powell. The references and phone numbers listed on the Aaron's contract are the career criminal's relatives, none related to Powell. And the career criminal didn't nearly fit Jerome Powell's description.
I outweigh him by 50 pounds. He's like 5 inches taller than me. I mean, he has numerous tattoos. I have 0 tattoos.
Even so, the Aurora detective never contacted Powell.
He never called me, never contacted me, never got a letter, never went to my house.
My son has been like a source of pride for the whole family. He was always a straight-A student. He went to Purdue. He studied nuclear engineering. He has a nuclear engineering degree.
Yvette Corella is a proud mother who just happens to be a Denver police officer.
My son is in the phone book. He's very easy to find. He's the only one listed with his name.
Yvette called the Aurora detective, officer to officer, looking for answers.
You have his address. I mean, why didn't you try to call him, have him come in with or without counsel and let him know about these charges? This could have been cleared up 2 years ago. And he said he wasn't going to litigate it over the telephone.
That was it?
That was it.
He didn't do his job as thoroughly as I wish he had.
Okay. After reviewing the results of our investigation, acting Aurora Police Chief Terry Jones admits his detectives seemed to be fixated on Jerome Powell, even though the evidence pointed elsewhere.
If this detective had made a simple phone call to Jerome Powell, would Jerome Powell have been arrested?
I don't think so.
Okay. So everything that happened was a result of this detective not doing his job correctly.
That's correct. We're going to initiate an internal investigation into this for the actions of the detective as well as the supervisor to find out what happened or what didn't happen.
He was humiliated by the whole experience, and he was just so upset.
I did everything right, and I got arrested for something I didn't do.
Now, the Arapahoe County DA has now dropped all the charges against Powell, and based on our investigation, the Aurora Police Department has now opened a new criminal case into that theft. Now, Powell and his family are out several $1,000s after having to post bond and get a lawyer to clear his name. That's not finished yet. The Aurora chief says he agrees that Powell should be reimbursed for the department's error, but he says that's going to be a legal matter. It's going to be up to the city attorney. So this is not over yet, but it sure points out some flaws in the way Aurora does business.
It certainly does. All right. Thank you, John.